In this lesson, we are going to learn how to solve a system of equations using the graphical method. We are going to use this exam question here as an example. It says, find the values of x and y that satisfy both equations simultaneously. Using graphical method, draw both lines and find their points of intersection. Then you are given the first equation as 2x plus y is equals to 10. Then the second one, 3x minus 2y is equals to 1. The first step in solving this system of equations using the graphical method is to find our coordinates for each of the equations, which will help us to plot them in the Cartesian plane or in the graph. We can start with equation 1, 2x plus y is equals to 1. So this is equation 1. What we need to do is I can make y the subject of the formula. In this case, to do so, I just need to move these 2x on the other side of the equal sign. When I do so, it was 2x plus y is equals to 10. Now, when I move these 2x on the other side of the equal sign, it will be negative because here it was positive. So now it becomes y is equals to 10 minus 2x. Then from there, I need to randomly guess values for x, then calculate the values for y. So let's say, for example, in the first instance, we say x is 1. That one I just randomly guessed is not a specific value. You can guess anything you want. So when x is 1, y will be 10, this 10, minus 2 into 1 because I guessed x is 1. So now it will be 10 minus 2 multiplied by 1, which is 2, and 10 minus 2 is 8. So when x is 1, y is 8. How about when x is 2? When x is 2, we are going to replace x with 2 here. So it will be 10 minus 2 into 2. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So 10 minus 4 is 6. So when x is 2, y is 6. Then how about when x is 3? When x is 3, y will be equal to 2 multiplied by 3 because x in this case is 3. So it will be 2 multiplied by 3, which is 6. Then 10 minus 6 is 4. So when x is 3, y is 4. And now we have 3 points which we can use to plot this line in the Cartesian plane or in the graph. And those points are 1, 8, 2, 6, and 3, 4. Then we can do the same for the second equation. So in the second equation, as usual, we have it as 3x minus 2y is equals to 1. Then from there, I just need to first of all make this y the subject of the formula. And to do so, I just need to move this 3x on the other side of the equal sign, and now it becomes negative 2y is equals to 1, this one, minus 3x, because 3x here it was positive, on the other side it will be negative. Then from there, I need to divide everything in this equation by negative 1 so that I can get rid of this negative here. So now it becomes 2y is equals to negative 1 because 1 was positive, then plus 3 because 3 was negative here. When I divide with another negative, it will be positive. So now I have 2y is equals to negative 1 plus 3x. But you see, I don't want 2y, I want y, so that I can be able to calculate the values for y and also the values for x. So from there, I can divide both sides by 2 to get the value for y. So if I divide here by 2, I'll remain with y because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Then is equals to 3x divided by 2. I just interchanged this negative 1 now came here, 3x started the equation. So now it will be y is equals to 3 divided by 2, this 2, minus 1 divided by 2, because we have to divide everything in 2. So now we have our y. We can start now random guessing values for x. And we can start with when x is 2, How about y? When x is 2, y will be equal to 3 over 2 into 2, because we said x is 2, then minus half. So it will be 3 over 2 multiplied by 2. This 2 cancels with this one. We remain with 3. Then 3 minus half, it will be 2 and half, which is equivalent to 2.5. Then we go to the next one when x is 4. When x is 4, y will be 3 over 2 multiplied by 4 minus half. Reason being, 3 over 2, now 4 divided by 2 is 2, then 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, then 6 minus half, it will be 5 and a half, which is equivalent to 5.5. How about when x is 6? When x is 6, y will be equal to 3 over 2 into 6. So, divide by 2, divide 6 by 2, it will be 3. Then 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. Then 9 minus half is 8.5. And now we have 3 points for x and y in this case. And the reason why I was using even numbers here, I just random guessed these values so that I can be able to divide them by 2 without any problems. And that's why I adopted even numbers. So now we have the table here for equation 2. When x is 2, y is 2.5. When x is 4, y is 5.5. When x is 6, y is 8.5. And now we have coordinates for the equations, which we can use to plot in the graph. So now, here is our graph. And here is our equations information. The first equation, 2x plus y is equals to 10 with its coordinates. Then the second equation where we have the equation itself and its coordinates. So, can we start with equation 1 and we plot it in this our graph here. So to do so, I just need to check the first coordinate for this equation. First equation is 1, 8. So when x is 1, y is 8. So I just come to the x-axis and read where do we have 1? We have 1 here. And then where do we have 8? In the y-axis, we have 8 here. So we undo this 8 and 1 intersect. They intersect somewhere there, and that becomes our first point for the first equation. Then we go to the second point, when x is 2, y is 6. So we come to the x-axis 2, then y-axis is 6. So somewhere there is where they intersect. And then we go to the last point, here we have 3, 4. So when x is 3, y is 4. So on the y-axis, here is where we have 4. So now that is the third point. And then from there, we can just fit the line, and we have plotted our first line. We can repeat this for the second line because we have the coordinates. So to do so, and to check for the second equation, when x is 2, y is 2.5. So x is 2, y is 2.5 on the y-axis. So 2.5 is somewhere here, just halfway to 3. Then we have when x is 4, y is 5.5. So 5.5 is somewhere there on your way to 6. And then when x is 6, y is 8.5. So when x is 6, y is 8.5, somewhere there, halfway to 9. And now we have plotted the 3 points for the second equation. So I can fit it, the line. And now we have our second line for the second equation. Then from there, to read the solutions for x and y, because that's all we wanted to get the value for y and the value for x when we solve those two equations. So to read the values, I need to check where they intersect, then read the value for y on the y-axis, and then read the value for x on the x-axis. So it's like this. the intersect here, and if I go down, I read the value for x on the x-axis, it is 3, so x is 3, and y is 4, because on the y-axis, they intersect that point 4. So, now our solutions are x is equals to 3 and y is equals to 4. Well, now that we know x is 3 and y is 4, those are our solutions. Can we try to fit these values in these two equations and see if actually we get 10 as the answer for the first equation and 1 as the answer for the second equation? So can we start with first equation, which says 2x plus y is equals to 10. But you see, we already know x is 3. So it will be 2 into 3 plus y, but y is 4. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, then plus 4. So 6 plus 4 is 10, and the first equation is verified. Then in the second one, we have 3x minus 2y is equals to 1. So it will be 3 into 3 because x is 3 minus 2 into 4 because y is 4. So it will be 3 multiplied by 3, which is 9, minus 2 multiplied by 4, which is 8. So 9 minus 8 is 1. So the second equation verified. So both equations are satisfied and the solutions are verified. So that's how we solve a system of linear equations using the graphical method. If you have any question or there is a place you did not understand, you can ask me in the comment section. And bye for now. Let us meet in the next lesson where we are going to explore a different concept in mathematics.